Welcome to another digital engagement podcast brought to you by LivePerson. Through its LiveEngage cloud-based platform, LivePerson creates meaningful, real-time customer connections that increase conversions and improve customer experience. I'm your host, Patrick Spencer, Senior Director and Editor-in-Chief at LivePerson. Joining me for the following podcast was Keith Blankenship, the Director of Strategic Alliances at Invodo, a LivePerson apps marketplace partner.
Keith, thanks for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Invodo is a very interesting company. A good starting point would be to talk a bit about the company, its founding, your different offerings. It's a cloud-based approach.
It is, yeah, absolutely. I'll just take a couple of minutes here and give you a little bit of the story of our founding. We're actually quite rooted into retail from the very early on. The company was actually started by two brothers, Garden and Brad Mayer, who were retailing smarthockey.com, which is a provider of different streets as well as ice hockey practice equipment and play equipment. And they had essentially found a way to make a proprietary hockey puck that had some unique features to it that differentiated itself over all the other available hockey pucks out there. And one day in the backyard, they shot a very low-res video of the product in use and talked about its features and benefits. Posted it with some rudimentary technology on their website, and all of a sudden they saw sales shooting through the roof. So that was kind of the original aha moment behind Invodo and the power that e-commerce video can have in terms of driving sales volume.
They skated right over to a solution they never anticipated.
Right,
That's a great
exactly.
Story.
Yeah, so definitely planted in retail firmly from the very beginning, and a lot has changed over the last 6 or 7 years since that occurred. We've grown to now about 100 people company, almost as many clients. And the business model has slightly shifted over time towards more of an enterprise cloud play, whereby we are helping retailers and brands do everything that is involved in bringing video content to market to help drive sales and support customers on their websites. So today it's really a comprehensive solution that covers both strategy as an initial entry point, all based on experience that we've had with working with over 100 different retailers and brands in the space. We also have a professional full-service production capability with studios in-house as well as mobile capabilities where our clients will shoot videos with us as well as do all the post-production, script writing, talent selection, what have you. And then we also are a technology company, so we have our own proprietary online video platform that is built specifically for the e-commerce context, and most notably integrates analytics into the platform that help retailers realize what the ROI of the video is according to sales rather than just engagement or minutes viewed.
Interesting.
So that's kind of the comprehensive end-to-end way that we approach these.
So the value proposition would be you have a very comprehensive offering to begin with, but then you have some unique features like this ROI component that you just described that others in the marketplace don't have.
That's right, and it's mostly about scale for us. The more video content, professionally well-done video content that's contextually relevant that you can provide along the customer journey on your website, the better impact you're going to have on return for that investment. And what we try to do as far as strategy, production, technology is build as much efficiency into that process as possible. So every element of what we do has been tweaked and all the fat has been cut out of production while keeping it creative. Technology is built to enable efficient management, hosting, streaming, and measurement of the video content itself.
And you talk about ROI, that it's a more sophisticated model than what most do from a video standpoint. Can you delve into a little more detail about what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. If we're looking at straight conversions, conversion impact of video, we typically are seeing across our customer base that individuals that are viewing e-commerce video are converting at about nearly twice as often as non-viewers, okay? So you're getting the incremental purchases as well as increases in average order value, which can range upwards of 15% increase for individuals that are viewing video.
Wow.
If you look outside of the direct conversion impact that video has on a retail operation, we're also talking about return on production is kind of the term that we've coined, and that means taking that video content and leveraging it in as many places as possible that makes sense in order to drive incremental traffic to your website, convert more people when they're on it, possibly reduce product returns after the fact, help avoid call or do call avoidance for support use cases. All of that rolls into the overall return on production that we try to hit.
And how do you determine where you are placing the video that results in those type of benefits? That you have an underlying algorithm engine, or how does all that work?
So a lot of it is backed by the data that we collect around customer behavior, what they're doing with the video, whether or not they're purchasing in particular categories or on products. And a lot of it is based on our experience working with customers and collecting success stories. So outside of the typical product demonstration video on a product detail page, we have a lot of customers that are now utilizing video in digital advertising, retargeting banner ads, emails, in-store on digital displays. These are all areas that we can't directly track the conversion impact, although we can get anecdotal information from our customers and the systems that they use to manage those marketing campaigns. But it's really about ultimately finding where pain points are at in the research or purchase process, whether it occurs on your website or off the website, and targeting specific video content to help answer questions and move somebody along the purchase path.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, that's a good segue to the discussion around the LivePerson partnership. How long has that been in place, and what was the genesis for its formation?
Yeah, so we are fairly new partners with LivePerson. I'm actually really excited about this alliance. I'm managing this along with most of our other strategic alliances. And I think that excitement really stems from the fact that we've got a really solid Better Together story, probably as good or better than I've seen in the few years that I've been managing alliances. One, our narratives are extremely aligned. How we talk about digital engagement are very close, and also the business problems that both of our solutions and technologies are trying to help solve for our customers are one and the same. We're trying to increase sales volume, reduce calls to the support center, increase the productivity of chat and call center agents, increase traffic to the website, better target content, increase customer satisfaction. These are all things that both LivePerson and Invodo are very, very focused on.
So you named some of those use cases. What are a couple of the key use cases? You have a customer, for example, using your technology for targeted content, targeted video out on an external site. You have that linkage with LivePerson, and you're pulling in that data into the actual live chat experience so that there's more data at the fingertips of the agent. That's probably one, but I suspect there's more use cases than just that one.
Yeah, there are a bunch of mashups, if you will, integration points between Invodo and LivePerson. The way that I would look at it is through the lens of sales and support as two separate contexts, okay?
Two separate personas.
Right. So when we're talking about a new customer, somebody that's making a repeat purchase, they're new to the website maybe they're returning for a second time, but they're in the research phase, and they want to know as much information as they can about that particular product, especially if it's a high consideration product. It's not easy for everyone to navigate a typical e-commerce website, although some new technologies, fairly new technologies like faceted search and predictive search, things like that, are assisting with it. The idea is to leverage LivePerson's insights into consumer behavior and all of the business segments that have been defined by a retailer brand as far as high-value customers, new returning customers, more sophisticated things you can get into, leverage the knowledge and the insight that the LivePerson platform captures, and then serve up relevant video content to those individuals in the right way at the right time. So we're providing the video content in this case, which can be pre-canned video, typically product demonstration. It could be support video. It could be technology video that describes the features of a particular technology like Gore-Tex to an individual based on the behavior that they've presented and that has been captured by the LivePerson.
It becomes a self-service mechanism at that juncture.
Right. So get the right content to that individual at the right time so that they can make a confident purchase decision. That's one way. In addition to that, if a retailer or brand were to find that they want to leverage a higher touch engagement with someone to make the sale, I'll take the example of a telecommunications company. If I'm trying to switch providers, for instance, and I don't know exactly how the new phone at the new provider is going to perform and how it compares to my current one, we have the capability of providing anything from basic video, pre-canned video content, all the way up to what we call virtual device, which is a full emulation of the phone's operating system, standalone or through a agent-assisted LiveEngage window. So then the agent can actually walk that individual through the phone's features, and there's no real need unless the customer really wants to go in store and hold that phone.
So that's based on rules that are written that are integrated into the LivePerson platform. Are you able to use, and yours is simultaneously, are you able to use the predictive intelligence targeting that is now available within the LiveEngage platform to do some of that in an automated fashion?
Yeah, so it can vary in terms of how complex you want to get with the content targeting, and you're really only limited by what's available currently in the LivePerson analytics and behavioral marketing capabilities. But serving that through a LivePerson Marketer, for instance, is an option, which is just basic segmentation and targeting of content, all the way up through predictive targeting of content using the new solution.
Wow.
It's also obviously available if somebody initiates a static chat through one of the buttons, then the agent would be able to share that content through the interface.
Well, that's a great value proposition, the fact that you can essentially integrate across all the various touch points of the LivePerson platform.
That's the goal. We want to make sure people are using video in as many relevant cases as possible.
And to your point, it not only from a sales perspective, conversion rate perspective, but also service perspective, there's substantial value there. You referred to one of them already in terms of call deflection, but also customer satisfaction. Customers go away with a much better experience. They're going to be much more likely to refer the company and the products that they're purchasing after the fact.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some strong stats that have come out of joint customer engagements that we've done thus far. I'm not able to share the name of this customer, but when they ran a test, they found that conversion rates doubled and customer satisfaction, as captured by a post-chat survey, was increased by 14% when the agent presented a video within that chat session.
Well, that's great. Those are very compelling numbers, needless to say. So what's the typical buyer persona? We talked in terms of e-commerce and sales, but if you get a little more specific, are you usually selling to the CMO, the head of sales? Who's typically would be interested in a joint solution from Invodo and LivePerson?
Yeah, there's primarily two for us. So I'd first look at the retail. These are companies that are selling one or multiple lines of manufactured goods online. Maybe they have some brick and mortar operations, but primarily selling other people's goods. We are typically working directly with the CMO's office and the individuals that are involved with digital marketing, e-commerce, and category managers in those cases. And what those individuals really are looking at in terms of benefit that we can provide to their business is increased conversion rates, higher sales volume, a differentiated site experience, and ultimately increases in customer satisfaction. So that would be one segment that we really work closely with. The other one is manufacturing brands. So these can be companies like Mizuno or Lenovo, who may have an established direct channel to a consumer, but more likely have a higher volume channel through retail, and they're new to e-commerce. And for these individuals, we're working primarily with the marketing, the CMO office, and channel managers as well, those individuals that have responsibility for driving sales through their retail partners. And it's a great opportunity if we can produce video content and or host and stream it for a brand. It's basically amplifying and distributing that video across their retail network. So bringing that video online on all of their retail partner websites can increase sales volume through those channels, and obviously that looks good in the CMO's eyes. And also, obviously, on the branded website itself, creating well-branded content that's focused on individuals that are in market for that product, and ultimately are driving increased sales on the brand website is the goal.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, I think you're seeing an evolution of digital engagement from being sales and service focused, or those were the primary audiences. You're beginning to see that integration and the evolution of the LiveEngage platform, plus the addition of partners like Invodo, are facilitating this change. I think where it's now a very compelling value proposition, or a very compelling play for the head of digital marketing and how they're driving their digital marketing initiatives.
Absolutely.
If you're to look at your roadmap in terms of where Invodo and LivePerson are headed over the next year or two in terms of integration and the evolution of the digital engagement space, what are a couple things that customers might want to look for?
Yeah, so I would say, first of all, in the next year, if you haven't seen it already, product demonstration video is going to become ubiquitous. You're going to see it on almost every website that you shop, and almost all of the product pages, at least category pages that you're shopping within. So marketers are making heavy investments in this area, and it's becoming a customer's expectation to see that content when they're researching a product. So there's definitely an opportunity cost now to not doing video in some capacity. But what I think is really exciting for Invodo, for LivePerson, and for the retail, the e-commerce industry in general, is this idea of visual commerce. And really what I mean by that is an expansion of what a video experience is. As individuals are researching, considering products, they want as much information at their fingertips as possible, but they also want to be visually engaged while they're consuming that information. And video is just simply a great medium for that.
It's really the best way to engage someone at the end of the day.
Sure, yeah. And there's just something visceral about it. It provides additional context that text and images cannot by themselves. And there's a human connection when you use actors on the screen. We're thinking that in the next 5 years, what we're really going to be seeing is an expansion of those experiences to more immersive type commerce and visual combinations. So things like shoppable video, which we do a little bit of today, where you are taking a media asset that may have been produced for a particular context like advertising or branding, and making that shoppable so that you're driving people down into the purchase path and not just providing them with entertainment. And that also includes additional tooling that individuals are now used to using as part of their purchase or shopping process. Things like chat or click-to-call can be integrated directly into the video experience to help answer additional questions while you have that individual engaged. In addition to that, you'll see things like product recommendations that are dynamically populated based on what you know about that individual, surfaced within the video content. So these are the type of really immersive experiences that are going to be more and more ubiquitous, and that we're building tools and content solutions around and integrations around so that they fit directly into a digital engagement strategy.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, you spoke about video and live chat. Through your platform, is it possible to do actual live video chat with customers? You saw the Amazon announcement with May Day, and there's a lot of focus and a lot of publicity around that particular announcement. And many, as a result, feel that only if you're a big player like Amazon would it be possible to do something like this. In reality, with LivePerson and partners like Invodo, you actually can enable a solution along these lines.
I would love to have a yes answer to that, but it's not a solution that we've built capabilities around today. We've really been focusing on the video production, the technology, and enabling those visual commerce experiences. But I believe that LivePerson does have some closely held partners that can do video chat as well.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how extensive the solution is, and it would make sense that you're focused on the other areas because that's your area, your subject matter area of expertise. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Keith, you have an interesting career. You've been with Invodo since about mid-2011 in this role, but you've held other roles at Core Metrics, which is an IBM company, in several different capacities. You've seen the evolution of what's happened in the digital engagement space. Can you talk about that evolution over the last 5 or 6 years as your career has evolved, and then what your charter looks like in 2011, and then what it looks like today?
That's a lot of questions. I'll do my best to answer. I'm glad you find my
about
career
10 and
a little
1
bit interesting. I came out of college and went and had the fortunate opportunity to work at a small digital marketing agency here in Austin. For the last few years, I was in business school and got a fire hose of information around all of the different initiatives that digital marketing has within it. And I guess the biggest thing that I've seen over the last 5 years from moving from that company through Core Metrics as a solutions architect, which was very down into the data. It's a data or a web analytics company that got bought by IBM, and then coming over to Invodo is that marketers are getting a lot smarter. I don't think this is new to anybody, and in turn, consumers are getting a lot smarter and a lot more demanding in terms of getting relevant content at the right time. I think that's well documented in industry profiles and speakers that you've probably seen at all the conferences. That's a common theme. The tooling and the strategies that have been leveraged by marketers is, in my mind, getting more focused. I know that may be a little bit shocking because of the proliferation of technology vendors out there today, but yeah. I think marketers are now understanding what has the best ROI, primarily because they have the right instrumentation. It's one reason why we've, from the start, included integrated analytics into our platform so that individuals know how our programs are performing. They have the metrics in place, they understand how to leverage them, and they're not putting dollars in places where they don't return anything. Mm-hmm. So I think that's only going to increase. The tooling is going to get better, the attribution models are going to get better, and strategies that once would fly because everyone was doing them may not be viable in the near future.
Yeah, that's quite true. You're spot on there. Well, Keith, thank you so much for your time. I found this conversation very interesting, and I'm sure that our listeners will benefit from your details about the partnership between Invodo and LivePerson.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to another Digital Engagement podcast brought to you by LivePerson. Check out other digital engagement podcasts at liveperson.com/podcast. LivePerson Solutions, helping you to drive tangible business value from your digital engagements via chat, voice, and content, all delivered at the right time and through the right channel. LivePerson, connections through digital engagement.